Hello everyone again. Nice to be back here with Szesztay Margit, our next guest. Margit gave her plenary session yesterday, and just to put you into picture, she is a teacher trainer at the Department of English Language Pedagogy at ELTE University in Budapest, and she's been a friend and colleague of mine for quite a few years, and she's involved in lots of other things, which we'll be touch upon in a few minutes. Margit, thanks for accepting our invitation and being here. So your session was primarily about teacher development, stages of teachers' development, professional learning and reflection. Is that correct? Just to check.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and your major focus was on reflection and the stages of development that teachers go through their career.
Yes, yeah.
Could you just briefly summarize your session? So what was your main point and highlights of your session?
Well, there are two things basically that I wanted to do. As you said, I wanted to trace a teacher's development, and I used the metaphor of stepping stones. Mm. So I looked at 4 stepping stones in the life of a teacher, and through this kind of went through the career path that teachers go through. So the first stepping stone is when you start out as a beginner teacher. That's the being thrown in at the deep end, because usually that's what it feels like, because teaching is a highly complex activity. And then the second stepping stone represents the 2 feet on the ground, when you're feeling a little bit settled and you've developed your own routines. And then you move on to the third stage, which is the ready to tinker, ready to experiment and try things out. Now that you feel kind of settled and established, you can try to bring some new things into the classroom. And then the fourth stage was the branching out. So when you've become sort of an established teacher, maybe you feel that there is something you want to give back to the community, and also maybe you feel that there are some skills that you've developed that you actually can transfer and use outside the classroom as well. So this might mean becoming a mentor, a supervisor. It might also mean when you attend a conference like this, giving a workshop of your own or a talk, you feel like now you've got lots of ideas that you want to share with other teachers. So there is this kind of branching out in your life. Of course, these stages are not so neat, and you can't say first 2 years being thrown in at the deep end, second 2 years, 2 feet on the ground. But based on the literature and also based on my own experiences, teachers do tend to go through something similar to this.
Do you think teachers can skip certain stages or go backwards? Or
of course, yeah. I mean, these categories are always kind of academic categories, and real life is always more complex, and anything can happen in real life. But I think it gives us a useful framework for thinking about where we are at in our own development as teachers.
About practicalities, how does this help teachers in their career, do you think, knowing about their stage where they are at?
Well, that links nicely with the other thing that I was focusing on during the plenary, and that's reflection, what it means to be a reflective practitioner, a reflective teacher, and just a reflective person in general. One of the things that I was kind of highlighting is being reflective means stepping back and looking at the big picture. And in our day-to-day lives, we're concerned as teachers with, we're so busy, there's so much to do and to focus our attention on, that every now and then it's good to step back and think about things a little bit more globally. And a framework like this can allow you to do this, even if you don't feel, no, I'm not in any of these stages, or I'm in a 5th stage. It triggers a kind of thinking process.
How do you step back and reflect on your teaching, your career? Do you, I don't know, have a cup of tea and sit down and relax, or what's your strategy?
Sometimes yes, sometimes I do. If I think about what have been the main triggers for reflection, and these are some things that I mentioned during the plenary, getting feedback from outsiders, from students, that is the main trigger, and also seeing that teaching can be done differently. So visiting other classrooms is a very good way to trigger reflection, and just seeing alternatives. I mean, attending a conference like this is a huge impetus, a huge motivation to step back, because you see other teachers, other facilitators at work, and immediate you think about, oh, do I do this? What are some things that I do differently? And that's definitely what triggers it. And I think it's good to build it in kind of regularly into our day-to-day practice. And sometimes it's in the bathtub, maybe when I'm kind of relaxing and going over the day, or going for a walk, or talking to other teachers. That can really help me to have this bigger picture about teaching. That's, I think I find that quite puts me into a reflective mode.
And how does, for example, because you're the SIG coordinator of the global issues SIG at the big IATEFL,
yes.
How does that help you reflect, or how does that help you kind of proceed in your stages of development?
Well, during the, I mentioned that the last stage was within this framework, this branching out. So for me, this branching out has meant that increasingly the educational role of the teacher has become more and more important to me. And that maybe started in the 90s when I became involved with IATEFL-Hungary, actually, and I became a committee member, and since that time I've been involved in IATEFL-Hungary as well in a number of ways. So it's kind of helping to build community. And at the moment, as you mentioned, I'm the coordinator of the a special interest group called Global Issues. And what Global Issues is focusing on is this educational role of the teacher, and how we can kind of share ideas about this. And this has always been important to me, but increasingly as I grow older, it is these wider educational issues are more and more central to what I'm doing.
And what's your upcoming event with the Global Issues SIG?
That's a very good question.
Where can people find you, online or offline?
Well, if they Google IATEFL and IATEFL SIGs and the Global Issues, the GI SIG, then they will find information about our upcoming event, which will be in Liverpool at the IATEFL conference, the pre-conference event. And the theme is Unlearning Learned Helplessness. I think one of the things that a teacher as educator can do is to help students to realize that they make a difference, that everybody makes a difference. And actually Simon, during his little inspirational talk, was mentioning Jane Goodall, and how Jane's message is that everything we do and all our actions make a difference. And this is the message that our SIG also wants to strengthen. That's why we have this theme of unlearning learned helplessness, kind of shaking off this belief that, oh, who am I? And how can I influence my environment, that everybody can. And going back to this kind of well-known slogan of think global, act local, although it's been around for a long time, I think the message is a very important one. This is one that we'd like to strengthen, and I'm very happy that we will have Adrian Underhill and Jim Scrivener and Paul Shaw and David Crystal present at this pre-conference event. So it's going to be a very exciting event.
Wow, I hope I can attend. And one final question, or maybe two questions if we have some time. Why do you think joining IATEFL-Hungary is a good thing? I've also asked Michael Carrier about this, but you're an insider because you are an ex-president of IATEFL-Hungary, and would like to kind of expand our community, but people need some more insider information of why they should join us and attend the conference, come to our events, and so on.
Well, I guess teachers are motivated by different things, but to me personally, every time I attend an event organized by IATEFL-Hungary, first of all, I feel that I'm part of this larger network, a larger community, and that's inspiring and energizing. So I always leave perhaps a little bit tired, but hugely motivated and inspired. So and there is no substitute for this kind of face-to-face meeting. So I think that's one of the reasons, become a member and find out what's happening. Being a teacher can be quite isolating. You're in your classroom, you're in your school, and when we are during our day-to-day practice, we can have a kind of tunnel vision, and sometimes it's good to widen out and have a more of a panoramic view of what's going on in the profession, what are what do other teachers think, what do they do, what's going on, also stepping back even more in the wider profession in other countries. I'm really happy to see that IATEFL-Hungary's events are becoming more and more international. As Zsuzsi also pointed out, we have representatives from many other countries. So if you attend an event, then you get a taste of what's going on, not just within Hungary, but in other countries. And that is very exciting and inspirational, and that should be a huge motivation. But I think becoming a member means also that you get information and news about what's happening through the monthly newsletter, which I think is really good. And also you can do something, so you're not just getting, but that you feel that you can contribute. And I think if you attend an event like this just by your active presence and taking part at the workshops, and that is also a way of contributing. So you don't only contribute if you're a committee member, although it's very important to have good committee members, but I think just being you can be active at different levels. And I think it's very important. It builds your self-confidence, I think, as well.
At any stage of your development.
At any stage, exactly, yes.
Okay. One final thing is that Margit's notes and PPT can be found on the EGER Online blog, right? And probably we'll upload the video of this interview in a few minutes, and you can download it and watch it anytime in the future. So thank you for coming, Margit. It was lovely talking to you. And just one final question, sorry. Which session are you going to now?
Right now, I don't know which session I'm going to right now. I will have a workshop in the afternoon, so I'll definitely be there at mine. And that's going to be on the power of questions. And that will be a nice follow-up after thinking about reflection, because I think asking big questions and questions which trigger the imagination is also very important. So I'll be attending that session. And while there's so many exciting sessions, I'll definitely go to the plenaries. And I'll have to look at the program more in detail to see what else.
And you'll share your materials from the workshop as well, so we can upload them.
Yes, yeah. The handout will be up on the on the website. Yeah.
Thank you. It was very nice having you here, Margit. And
Thanks
see you
for
later.
the opportunity.
We're going to go on in a few minutes, in 10 minutes, with the IATEFL SIG coordinators, IATEFL-Hungary SIG coordinators, sorry, with Bújtás Barbara and Zeffer Sandra. So stay tuned and watch our next interview in about 15 minutes. Thank you again, Margit, for coming.